This shit's fire.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another live Pin to Gas podcast. And man, let me tell you, I've been so excited about this, and what an honor it is to sit down with my man Andew Davis. What is going on, bud?
Oh man, living the dream.
Yeah, that's what we're all doing, living the dream, right?
That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
absolutely, man. Yeah, it's how was your day to day at work, man? I know you had a long work day. I did too.
Man, every day that I go to work is a long day. Working around some of the stuff that I work on, oof. But it pays the bills, so can't really complain too much.
Facts, and just to let everybody know, you're you're a mechanic, correct?
Yeah. I work on like all the dozers and excavators and stuff like that. So it's strenuous work, but sometimes it's satisfying. But like I said, it always pays the bills, so
Yeah, you
can't really complain
about that. No, I'm a motorcycle mechanic, so I work on, like 32 millimeter bolts. You work on like 8-inch bolts, 10-inch bolts, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got the big torque wrench. I got like a 250 pound. You probably got like a 1,000,000 pound torque wrench on them things.
Oh yeah, man. Sometimes we're pulling, upwards of 1,000 foot-pounds on some of them. Yeah.
It's a lot, man.
Torque multipliers and everything. Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah, man. I know. I see all your posts, and I'm thinking my buddy used to actually work at Carter Machinery, and he did the same thing. And he's like, dude, it's like, yeah, it's rough sometimes. I was like,
Yeah.
I bet, man. Especially the old ones being out there in the field for a long time, it's weathered, and
Yeah.
PB blaster just don't do it no justice, right? That's when you got to break out the torch and heat the shit up, and
Yep.
yeah, absolutely been there and done that, right? So yeah, man. Listen, Andrew, I want to get into it, man. So I want to talk about your story and how you got involved with motorcycles to begin with. So where does your story begin at?
Oh man. It sounds cliche. You hear it all the time. Like I was going through a rough spot in life, and I just wanted a new adventure. And that's basically it. That applies to me. I was going through, a divorce, and I didn't really, have my little niche thing to go out and enjoy. I was drag racing at the time, on a competitive national level. All that went away, obviously. So I just wanted to, I guess following my dad's and my uncle's footsteps and start riding motorcycles. And I was on Facebook Marketplace, just scrolling through like everybody else does, and then I found like I knew I wanted a Kawasaki because that's all I've been around. And I found a '07 ZX6, and man, that thing was like it was squidded out, like to the utmost degree. It was squid. I mean, stretched. The front end was lowered. I mean, you name it. It was Squid Missile 100. But I got it, and I love that thing, man. I loved it. And I rode on the street and started doing the whole again squid stuff. And then I don't know. I got with a local group, and they all razzed me about a 600 being stretched and all that stuff. So I undone all that. And started, getting dumb, and so yeah, I started going to track days. My first track day was with Sport Bike Track Time, I think, a few years ago. So at Little Talladega, and ever since then, I've just been hooked with riding a bike the proper way. So yeah, man, the rest is history.
Yeah, man, it amazes me. A lot of people out there don't know the proper way of just even sitting on a motorcycle,
Yeah.
balls on the foot peg and all that stuff. It's yeah, I try to teach as many people I come across. I don't want to be that pushy type of guy, but when I see a mistake, I'm like, hey man, blah 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 blah, and hopefully it's well taken in, because you come across some people when you try to give them advice and shit, they think they know everything. They're like, well, I'll just beat your ass up the mountain. I'm like, I'm not trying to get any, there's no trophy on top of the mountain, right? It's
Right.
I have nothing to prove to anybody, you know. I'm just trying to help you out, you know. We've all been, man, I had a lot of buddies growing up, dude, drag racing, stretch swing arms, and they wouldn't even, half of them wouldn't even spend the money on the full stretch swing arm. They'd buy the plates, right?
Yeah, the extensions.
Yeah, man. I'm like, yeah, and then of course they always get me, dude, can you put a chain on it? I'm like, yeah, just order your chain. Of course, they order a normal chain. I'm like, well, you just stretch your shit 8 inches, so you need a bigger chain, right? So I mean, it's common sense right there.
Yeah.
You know, all that stuff, and lower it with the straps, and we got into cutting fork tube. Man, it was a big mess, and I just did it to help my boys out and get them, but go down the drag strip, watch them drag race. I'm like, it's cool and all, you know, it's but my heart's in the corners and the corner speed, and yeah, trying to drag every body part you own, you know, everything all the time. So it's yeah, man, it's absolutely amazing. So look, Andrew, you got a bike, Facebook Marketplace, Squid bike, ZX6, right? And then you ended up with the beautiful ZX9, which I love it. My buddy had one and it was an absolute monster. He had I think it was the liquid plasma blue, because I had a 05 636. It was the same color.
Yeah.
Man, that thing was, I loved riding that bike. It was just, I mean, obviously it was a lot bigger than a 600, but man, it was just so comfy to ride. You know, you weren't hunched over, you're sitting more upright, and it had absolute gobs of power. And it handled really well too, which surprised the shit out of me. Because normally, you know, the older ZX9s, they weren't the best handling bikes, I'll say. But yeah, it was been down that whole road myself, man. I actually got a good buddy that got into drag racing big time, you know, $10,000-$12,000 motor bills, all this nitrous, whatever. It's cool and all, it's fun to watch, but 2 wheels, corner speed, that's where it's at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, dude, coming from the street, you got involved with some guys. Did they say, hey, let's go do a track day? And you was like, okay, let's go. And that's basically how it started.
Man, honestly, I can't even remember. I never had anybody like come up to me and go, let's go to a track or anything. Like, I did all the research on my own. I went and found like the track org by myself, just like typing in Google, and you know, I read like all the tech checklist to get the bike ready, the gear that I needed, and all that stuff. Like, I did all that research myself, and you know, went through the proper channels to get there, and you know, get set and get squared away and get on track myself. Like, I never had that, arm over the shoulder, let's go, let's do this. Like, I was there by myself, and I was just winging it. So I never really had that, to be honest with you.
That's awesome. I got introduced because my buddies, they were big into it. Actually, when I was in Phoenix going to MMI, of course, we was a street squid, you know, out there freaking kind of like what, because in Phoenix, everything's like this. I mean, all the roads except for Camelback. Camelback's the only one that runs pretty much diagonally. And yeah, you know, dude, it was like a 650 EB or IB on YouTube where they go out and they're on the highway and you got one leader and he points to 2 people and they pull up and they drop the arm in second gear, you know, rah, rah, rah. And then my buddy Ruben was like, man, we need to go down here to Fiber and do a track day. I was like, absolutely, let's make it happen, you know. And yeah, that's where my whole love for the track come in. Of course, I watched road racing. I always wanted to do it, but again, it was something that none of my friends actually did. So I had no idea how to actually get into it, you know. But back then there wasn't iPhones and all that good stuff, you know? So it was yeah, it was basically on who you knew, going down to the local motor dealership and yeah, talking around and getting pointed in the right direction. And then, of course, you know, the leather suits, the back protector, the boots, the gloves. I had no idea. And then safety wire. And I was like, what the fuck is safety wire, right? I mean, shit, I didn't know, right? Yeah. So I go out and go get the drill bit, and I'm learning how to do it. And I show up, and they look at it, and they're like, the dude at Tech was like, who did the safety wire? I was like, I did. It was my first time. What do you think? He's like, dude, bro, like, I'm going to show you how this is done, you know? And I did it proper enough to where they allowed me to go out. But when I come back
Yeah.
in the day, he come over there and was like, "Look, man, that's how you do it." And dude, honestly, that shit takes practice. It's not something you just do and boom, you get it done, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it takes practice, and then you either run distilled water and water wetter, or the appropriate coolant that's non-glycol based, yada yada yada, headlight, tail light, all the stuff that I learned actually being there. So yeah, it makes it easier when you actually have mates that actually know what they're doing before you get involved, right? But I was like my friend just said, "Hey, let's go," and he heard about it, and we went, and neither one of us had any idea of any of it. And then of course after that, Andrew, we got bit like by the bug like Spider-Man, right? And
Yeah.
I was like, dude, body work, clip-ons, rear sets, and all that stuff, and then taking classes and courses to learning body position and throttle control and yada 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 and so forth. But yeah, it's nothing like the track, man. And I was so taken back by being a new squid there, right? Just coming off the street, but getting so much help from everybody there. Cause I had a ton of questions. I'm the guy that always asks questions. I'm like, hey man, blah, blah, blah. They're like, yeah. That's what threw me for a loop, is how receiving everybody was that don't even know you or never even met you, and yeah, that's actually I got my deal on a first leather suit. It was used, right? They're like, hey man, I got to sell a leather suit. Of course, I put it on. It's a little too big, but at the time, I didn't know nothing about proper leathers, fitting you correctly, and which makes a huge difference. I'll be honest
Oh, it
with you.
definitely
So
does. It
it's
definitely does.
yeah, man. But that's something, you go through trial and error when you first get into it that you have no idea about. So I'm actually going to get me a new leather suit made, and I'm definitely going with Bison for sure. Just because I know Robert and Tasha personally, and yeah, I'd love to support them guys, and their products are great. But it'll be my actual first custom suit. Um, all my other suits, not most, was off the rack. I've had Core-Tech, Alpine Star, Day and Easy. I mean, shit, I spent thousands and thousands of dollars on suits, and it, some of them fit you good in certain areas, and then other areas it's not so good, right? That's the problem with the off the rack leather suit per se.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's all that stuff in together it makes a huge difference. It does, man. We got Dial, dude. What is up, man? He says, "What is going on, guys? Good to see you." Absolutely good to see you. Of course, Victoria is in the house. She says, "Hey guys, what is up?" And then, of course, we got my man Jeff Serving from Chef Eats. Best food out there in the
Yo, Jeff,
industry.
what's
Yes,
up?
dude. Everybody needs to go out there and order some Chef Eats, take it to the track, take it to work. You know,
Absolutely.
listen, it's so good. You could actually, when your wife's on her way home from work, you could throw it in the oven, put it on a plate, like you properly made a homemade meal, right? It's absolute amazing stuff. And Jeff, I will hit you back. I did get your message, and sorry, it's been a while. I've just been flat out at work, but I will message you after this for sure. But yeah, man. So Andrew, first track day. Did you still have the ZX6 at the time?
Yeah, I had the ZX6 at that time. Um, and funny enough, that track day was like the first and last track day for me for like, I don't know, a year and a half. Like I
Really?
went there on some Michelin Power Fives, which like they're a good like middle of the road tire, like good longevity, okay, decent grip. I struggled. So that kind of ruined, like, I did not want to get on track again, especially at like Little Talladega where the surface is almost like a cheese grater. It'll eat a tire in a minute. But yeah, so like going through that whole experience of, feeling the bike moving around while, coming out of a corner, applying throttle and stuff like that, like I was just, it turned me off because I was like, there's no way I'm ready to be on track, especially, when the advanced group guys went out and I was watching them go around the track. I was like, I literally have no business being here. So yeah, I took a break for, like I said, a year and a half. And then that's between that time, that's when I got the ZX9. The ZX6 blew up. Um, Ironically, it blew up blew up on the interstate with my kid on the back.
Oh no.
Me and my son were riding on the interstate. We were coming back from somewhere, anyways. Um, yeah, so that generation ZX6 like has bad cam chain tensioners, and something happened, and they found their way into the old pickup tube, and it basically locked the motor up while we were doing 75 miles an hour on the interstate in the middle lane. So that's how I got the ZX9. So in that time frame, I wasn't anywhere near a track. But yeah, then we went to in that time frame. That's when I met Victoria, and then we went to Roebling Road, and that's when I had the ZX9. So we there's been some distance in between, the track days and stuff. But yeah.
So, how old's your son? My son's 11. Of course, first and foremost, too, Andrew, dude, absolute honor. And thank you so much for all the love and support for the podcast. It means the absolute world to me. It does. But as you know, my son's 11. His name's Hayden Rossi. How old's your boy?
11.
Oh, dude, absolutely. When's his birthday?
September 30th.
Nice. Mine's November 19th, dude. That's awesome, man. 11 and 11. Go figure that, man. I take my son riding too. I pick him up from school on a bike, and of course, all the kids flock to the fence.
Oh yeah, they love it.
Dude, he's absolutely the coolest kid, right? Everybody's like, "Oh my god, your daddy come pick you up on a bike, dude! Like, you're so cool." It's
bragging rights for days.
Right, dude. Rossi would go to school carrying his helmet around, like, yeah. Absolutely awesome, man. Shoot, my dad used to take me riding when I was little. Never pick me up from school or drop me off. I wish he would, because then I'd be bragging too. Yeah, look what I got. Blah 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 blah, all that good stuff. So what made you want to buy the ZX9 instead of like another ZX6R or a GSXR or anything like that?
It's kind of a long story. And there's some history to that ZX9 that I have. That ZX9 has actually been in my family ever since 1998.
Nice.
With the exception of a few years. It was purchased brand new from Kawasaki, or the local dealership anyways, in 98 by my uncle. And he had kind of the same aspirations as I do. He got to watch Eric Wood compete in the Formula
Extreme.
class, and the Formula Extreme class.
Yep.
Anyways, never got around to it. He had a couple of kids, life, all that good stuff. So like in 2017, he got hurt. He had a back injury at work, and he decided that he was just going to sell that and get a Harley. And then I ended up tracking it down in the 6 months that my bike, the ZX6, had, blown up, to getting the ZX9. I had tracked it down, and it was up in North Georgia, literally exactly the same as when he sold it. Just sitting in a garage. Never, I mean, the guy ran it, rode it around a little bit, but he was never into like riding bikes or anything. So he just kept it in his garage. So, I was like, $1,500, like, I'll take it right now. I got a trailer. And sure enough, he was like, okay, cool. I don't care. Awesome. So bring it home, and then the rest is history. I've just been rebuilding it ever since.
The thing, dude, it's a beautiful bike. Like I said, I've always been a fan of the ZX9s. Dude, I've been a big Kawasaki was my first bike I ever bought crotch rocket wise. So yeah, it's always near and dear to my heart. I always got a soft spot for those. And then we was coming out of the commissary one day, and I seen a Ducati, and I was like, what the fuck is that, Dad? And Dad was like, dude, that's a Ducati. That's like a Ferrari of motorcycles, a blah, blah, blah. And the guy come out and fired it up. And I was like, dude, this is absolutely like one day I might have one, and my dad looked at me and laughed, and I've had like 6 since then.
Nah,
But yes, dude, to be honest with you, I've had 4 ZX6Rs throughout. Man, it's just something about a Kawasaki. You're right. They're absolutely amazing bikes, dude. They're light. They handle really well off the showroom floor. They got great power. They sound really good, especially with a full Muzzy on it, right? Yeah, nothing like it, man. They're absolutely gorgeous machines. So we got my buddy Craigo Harris in the house, man, all the way from the UK. He says, "Evening, Chris. Good evening, Andrew. First track day for me was also a ZX6RC1 at Cadwell Park, and then I also had a ZX9RC2 a year later." Proper.
awesome.
Yeah, dude, absolutely, man. Do you watch BSB, Andrew?
I do a little bit. Well, I say I do, but I catch snippets of it here and there. Um, the most commonly, known are, the track is when they're going up over the hill and jump it.
The mountain.
That's where I learned from that, series. But yeah, just a little bit, not much.
Well, listen, I'm gonna tell you a way you can watch it for free in 2024. It's called Bennett'sBritishSuperbikes.com. That's it. You can watch all the races for free. It's absolutely amazing. So you need to check it out for sure. 100%. Dude, we got Jason Dawson in the house. What is up, guys? What's going on, bud? Dude, Jacob Arnett, dude, what is up, my man? He says, if you come up this way, let's put a ZX9 on the dyno and we'll see what it makes. There you go, Andrew.
Yeah, he's got his own shop up there. He does good work.
Absolutely, he does. Big shout out to Jacob Arnett. He's absolutely awesome. Me and him had a long phone conversation, a video chat not too long ago. He's great guy, man. I always see his work. It was funny on his Jacob, your last, it wasn't your last TikTok, but it was just a couple, like a day ago or 2 days ago, and he says, "What can we do to make a bike lighter?" And he dropped the motor out of it, dude. I was crying laughing at work. Yeah, dude, that was awesome. I was screaming at work. Everybody was like, "What are you laughing at?" I was like, "Y'all wouldn't even understand." But yeah, it was, dude, that was good stuff right there, man. Absolutely. So getting into your track day, how many track days have you done since then?
Man, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, so after Roebling, like, Victoria touched on it in her podcast. Like, her first track day, like, that's when we went to Roebling. Like, she didn't enjoy it. Like, she was getting blown by, on straightaways and stuff. It freaked her out. So, like, I wasn't interested in getting back on track. I don't know why, but I wasn't. So I wanted to take her to Jennings, down in Florida. It's a slower paced track, not really long straightaways, so you don't have to worry about, the 1000s, coming by you at Mock Jesus and stuff like that.
Mock Jesus, I like it.
So, like, that was where we were going to take her, and I was all set. Then Jeff, he hit me up on Facebook, and he was like, "Yo, bring your bike too." And I was like, "Why? I don't." Is it like, I just want to get her back on track and get her, comfortable with it and stuff. And like, I threw every excuse at this man, and he had an answer for every single one of them. And my last ditch effort was, well, my rear tire is not, it's worn out. And he was like, "Bet, I got a tire for you." I was like, "What? Really?" Man, that one blew up in my face. So anyways, load my bike up, and Jeff has been instrumental in my progression on track. Well, not even on track, but just in life in general. Jeff has really been instrumental in it. So yeah, like, we got to Jennings, and before I even got changed, he had my wheel getting a new tire put on and back on the bike. And I was just like, "Oh, well, okay then." And then the rest is history. I can't remember. I can't remember how many times we've been to the track. It's just been like, it seemed like every weekend last year we were at the track.
That's
Road
awesome.
Atlanta, Jennings. I know Victoria went to Little Tally for, you know, the Woman's Day. Um, yeah, we were always either at the track for our track days or at Moto America events, just, you know, trying to, you know, talk to anybody we can, trying to, you know, learn as much as we can from even the pro riders and stuff like that. I mean, it's been a whirlwind, so
It's
to
been
speak.
an absolute mega journey, right? Nothing like
Yeah.
it, man. We touched on this, dude. It's nothing like dude, the love and the commodity we get from motorcyclists. It's just absolute.
Oh
It's
yeah.
overwhelming at times. It really is. You know, like you said, I made every excuse in the book. And our man, Chef Eats, Jeff Servant, ain't having none of that shit. We don't play that shit around here, right? He's like, come on
He
down, baby.
definitely
We got
doesn't.
you. Yeah, dude, that's awesome, man. It's absolutely amazing. By the way, I like your hat. 64 degrees, right?
Yeah, shout out to 64
To Tate.
degree, man.
Yep.
Tate,
Big shout
yeah.
out to Tate. Absolutely. Yeah, he's an amazing guy too, for sure. 100%. So getting out there, you and Victoria, and then you entered your first race, correct?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that was, man, I experienced every,
Emotion.
yeah, every high and low that you can experience for just a race weekend. Doesn't even have to be your first one, just a race weekend. Like I experienced every single one of them, from getting fined all the way to the bike breaking, uh, then to actually completing the entire weekend. Like the ups and downs of it were like wild, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was a blast.
It's always, and shit always pops up you never even think about, right? You're like, I don't have an extra one of them. Why didn't I think about that? Right. But that's all the ins and outs you learned
Yeah,
as as you get into it. But you have really good help and good knowledgeable people around you now. So yeah, they'll like Jeff, right? It makes it easier, right? But I
yeah,
remember too, like our first track day, it was me and my buddy Ruben, and dude, we didn't have tire warmers, right? I mean, we didn't have stands. We still had kickstands on the bike, you know, and then
yeah,
first track day, yeah, and then we got, you know, the proper rubber Dunlop. I forget what it was back then. Shit, well, I'm talking about 99, 2000. Um, and yeah, man, I remember just getting on the track and it was just absolutely amazing. Actually, dude, I really wanted to crash. Like I wanted to get it out the way. Like I just what dude, I did, man. It was like that was something like mentally that fucked with me so hard. I was like, dude, I don't know. It's like getting a new set of leathers and going out there in the concrete and just rolling around in them, right? I guess superstitious kind of in a way.
yeah.
But yeah,
I was the same way.
yeah, it is like you know, and I did actually crash before my buddy because so story is like they always pushed a lot more than I did on the street, right? They're like, oh, blah blah blah, you know, boys will be boys talking cash shit, and I'm
Right.
not, well, I don't talk a whole lot of shit. I'm just like, okay, whatever, you know, yeah, I'm a big vagina, woo, you know, woo, I'm a vagina, yay. So, um, we get out there on the track, and I smoke. I mean, I annihilated him, and we come back after the first session. He says, fuck you, Simcoe. I'll never forget it, dude. And I was like, what I do? He's like, I did not expect that at all, you know. But dude, we had so much fun. I ended up crashing right in front of him, trying to overtake him, being up, you know, big shot. I'm gonna outbreak him, and I had no fucking clue what I was doing. Yeah, totally ate shit. It was like a 50-mile-an-hour crash. Still had stock body work on with the headlight out, the tail light out, you know, all that mirrors gone, all this
Yeah,
zip tied. You know, zip ties are your best friend with 200-mile-an-hour duct tape, right?
that's right.
And then I ended up getting a proper set of body work and pro armor. Is what I got back then. Of course, and you know, you get the rear sets and the clip-ons, and you just pretty
Hmm.
much take it from there, you know. And then I'm looking at my credit card. I'm like, yeah, right. That's when it hits you too, right? New leather
Yeah,
suit, back protector, and gloves, and all that snazzy jazzy stuff. But it was absolutely worth it, man. It's the best drug in the world.
I
I
agree with
mean,
that.
absolute the best drug in the world. And if they took motorcycles away, I would have the biggest withdrawals. You'd be like, you might as well just kill me, hang me. I mean, yeah,
Oh yeah, for
drag me
sure.
down the street with a rope. I mean, because it's my
Yeah.
life would absolutely be over if there was no more motorcycles. I mean, come on, man. Yeah, it's and then Victoria says, speaking of that, I got to call Envy, LOL. Jason. Yes, Jason, you do need to call Envy. Absolutely, you do. Uh, Victoria said, dude, same. I just want to get my first crash over with because I know it's a mental block for me. Yeah, it was. I felt like if I just got my first one out the way, like it just left my mind, right? I was just at ease with myself. It's just like because everybody, you do it too, Andrew, right? Everybody battles mental problems, right? Not so much problems, but just mental blocks. We'll
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
that. And I find I struggle to get around those mental blocks. I'm sure you do, and everybody else does. But then when you talk about it, and I guess there's just certain ways within inside yourself that you do overcome them. But once you do overcome them, man, it's like you never think about it again. It was like I was like Superman when I first put on a full leather suit, Andrew. I felt like I was dun dun dun, like that was it, baby. I'm
Invincible.
good, right, dude? It
Yeah.
was. But that's not the case, right? Let's just be honest. That is absolutely not the case. You can still
No.
break bones. Take it from this guy right here. So yeah, it's
Yeah. See, I was completely different. I was, yeah. When I crashed at Road Atlanta, I don't think I've bounced back yet. Honestly, I think it's because I was left with a big question mark of what actually happened, like what went wrong. Um, it was in 10B. Like I had just come through the kink and down the hill into 10A. I mean, nailed all my downshifts perfectly. Got on the brakes, got slowed down, tipped into 10A, perfect. Got over into 10B and the front end. I just tucked the front end, and I was like, "What? What? I mean, what just happened?" Like literally, no indication of anything. It just wiped out from up under me. I was like, "Okay, that's weird." And to make that even more confusing, there was a coach that was behind me, and he come up to me afterwards, and he was like, "Yeah, that's I don't know. I couldn't tell you because you looked good. I mean, your body position looked perfect. I mean, your line was good. Don't know what happened." So I was like, "That's weird. I don't know what to think about that."
yeah.
So like, I haven't rebound from that fully still. So it's still kind of playing on me a little bit.
Yeah, I after that I got back up, got it going. Next couple track days, I crashed 2 or 3 times. It was absolutely just because I had no idea what I was doing. And to be honest with you, my front forks were shit, my rear shock was shit. Never had them rebuild, dude. Dude, the fluid looked like molasses, dude. Right, so I was bottoming out, and that's why I was crashing because I would get on the brakes and my forks would bottom. Then my front tire would try to act like suspension, and of course, it can only do that for like just a little bit, and then every time, right? It's
Yeah.
and then I started going around asking people like, hey man, this and that. And they're like, yeah. And then, well, let's set up your sag. I was like, what the fuck is that? Well, there's a static sag and a rider sag. I had,
Hmm.
again, no fucking idea. So I get on it and they're like, yeah, dude, like your front forks and your rear shock are absolutely not what you need, And then of course there goes another $2,200.
Hmm.
The cartridge kits and the rear shock being rebuilt, but man, it transformed it like it was a brand new bike. I mean, I was night and day, and then getting into it, racing's an art, it's all 80, 90%, 80% mental, but you still got to know the proper body position, the techniques,
Yeah.
trail braking, all that good stuff, on and off throttle, blah, 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 blah. So I started getting into schools out there in Phoenix and just talking to anybody that was faster than me. I'd sit over there and I'm sure someone were like, God damn it, here comes this guy again. Right here he comes, because I'm
Right.
that guy. I'm gonna ask, like, dude, because I want to improve, right? The only way to
Yeah.
improve is to do it. There was not YouTube back then or any of that. So knowledge is key, man. And to have, and that's where the fondness and I found the love within the community of road racing.
Yeah.
Everybody jumped in and helped, dude. I mean, it was like it was amazing. Like I just can't say enough about it. It was absolutely just it blew me away and
Yeah.
been hooked. It's absolute a joke. Me, honestly, I haven't done a track day in like 6 years. My I got a '08 EDR 848 Ducati and the bearing's bad in it, so I need to either rebuild the motor myself, or which I've done before, or I'm probably just gonna send it back off to EDR and have them do it. It's like $5,000 or whatever, but I just don't have $5,000 just laying around right now,
Yeah.
man. I did. Listen, I did, but I bought an RC51 with the money, right? I was like, motor for the Ducati. I always wanted an RC51. And yeah, so I got the RC51. So I'm saving my pennies. My 848 will be back alive because it's an absolute weapon. Yeah, it's didn't want to crash her. I've crashed her several times and I cried every time. I'm like, my girl. Right.
Yeah, that was literally me when
Yeah.
when I was sliding on the ground watching my bike go past me, because look, I had literally just rebuilt the entire bike, like forks, um uh Vinny at Vinny Speed Shop. I took him the forks like literally the next day because I knew that I was getting ready for, to go to Road Atlanta, because that was when I was supposed to get my race license. Um, so like I asked him if he could bang these out and hurry up and get it done. And he literally within the overnight, my man had them done and ready for me to pick up. So shout out to him. The bike handles phenomenal now. But yeah, I like new forks, steering stem, bearings, like the whole nine. New engine because the engine that was in it, the gearbox broke third gear and fourth gear. So found a wrecked ZX9 and pulled all the usable stuff off of it that I could and swapped all of it over. Got the carbs synced and all that good stuff. And second session, I go out and pretty much throw it all away, or at least it felt like I did. So I'm sliding on the ground and I'm watching my bike just slide, and all that money and effort sliding right past me. I was like, why me? So yeah, I get what you mean by that.
Oh, dude! Listen. The first time I crashed, so I said it at the beginning, right? Since then, I've had a lot of Ducatis. They're absolutely just. It's hard to describe. I'm not talking about the new ones. I've ridden the new ones. I've ridden the V4. I've ridden the 1299. I'm talking about 748 996, right? 1098. It had this kind of magic feel to it when you rode it, right? It was just weird. It's just I don't know. It's hard to explain, but man, I remember the first time I crashed my Ducati, I was like, I almost wanted to quit, right? Because I was just devastated. Like my heart was torn out. Somebody just ran it over with an 18-wheeler, shit on it, and set it on fire. And yeah, I didn't know what to do. It was absolutely devastating. But you come back from that, and at the end of the day, it's just a machine. And in reality, it's a red tubular V-twin machine. That's it, right? The words on it don't make it any better than the words on any other bike, but yeah, it's I feel you on that, man. Watching it slide down the road, it was like I had my hands in my head as I'm sliding, going, God damn it, dude. No, this is and it happens in slow motion too, right? It's not fast. The initial is fast, and all of a sudden it's like doo-doo, 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 and you're like,
Yeah, it's so crazy because I've heard people describe their wrecks and describe it just all slows down, and you can like hear your leather suit just like grinding on the ground. You can hear the helmet just. I was like, is that really, or are you exaggerating? But yeah, no, they're being honest.
And then you don't know it. You jump up and you got these fucking road rash like you wouldn't believe you'd have even wearing a leather suit. You take your shit off, you're like, wow, right? It's but that goes into where, you know, I didn't have a suit that fit me properly, right? And if it's too big, you're gonna have more friction because the suits move, you know, it's, you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was yeah, man, yeah. So my man Craigo says he says, when you don't know why you crash, it's always the hardest to bounce back from. If you know why, you can make improvements and help not happen again. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's that whole mental side of it, right? Like,
Yep.
why did I do that? How did I do that? I don't understand, because it felt good, right? Just because it felt good to me don't mean it was good. My bike was absolute a turd shit. The suspension was shit. Like I said, barely had any fork fluid in it. I mean, that's why I crashed, but I didn't understand that at the time because I had no idea. Even though I
Yeah.
was going to Motorcycle Mechanics Institute, listen, that's just basic shit. This is how you change fork seals. This is how you put a chain on. This is how you take a carburetor apart. This is how you rebuild it. This is a motor, a single cylinder. We'll split the cases. This is your transmission. Take it apart. First gear, second gear, put it all back together, put it
Mhm.
together, make sure it fire. I mean, it's basic, simple stuff. It's not rocket science, right? They didn't
Yeah.
teach you hardly any performance. They had 1 week of performance class, and that was on a dyno. And we used a flow bench one time. Do I remember any of that? Fucking hardly any of it, dude. That was in 2000, 2001, right? And what they told us at the time was, if you really want to learn performance on a motorcycle, you got to get hired on in a performance shop, because it's a specialty, right? Dealerships don't do that shit. Most dealerships don't even service suspension at all. They might do your fork seals, but do they really do it proper? Right?
Yeah.
It's like carbureted bikes, bro. That's a lost art. I'm so glad I learned. I went there when carburetors was in. So the 98 Gixxer 750, I think, was the first year fuel injected on it. And the TL 1000 and 97 had fuel injection. And of course, the Ducati 916 did, but we didn't have any of those there at the school. And basically, it was like a 3-day course of showing, you know, your ECU, and then the schematics, and this runs this and
Yeah.
this runs this and blah, blah, blah. And it was just so different to carburetors, right? So it was, I learned a little bit, but it wasn't nothing like it is today. I'll put it to you like that. It's yeah, today's bikes are just absolute crazy with all the technology, and it's yeah, it blows my mind, man. It's like when you look at a MotoGP bike, and I said this 100 times, you sit on it or you see a picture of the cockpit, you're going, I don't even know where the fuck to begin on this thing. Like
Right.
I don't even know what lever to hit, what button to push. I mean, it's to me, it's too complex. Make it simple. I'm a firm believer in KISS. Keep it simple, stupid, straight up.
Mhm.
Anything in life, right? Um, which also helps me be a mechanic. Andrew, I know you're the same way. You know, you get aggravated doing a job. You're like, dude, I've done this, and this is whooping my ass right now. You know, you just take a deep breath. It's just a machine. I got it. You know,
That's right.
it's
Walk away. Walk
right.
away for a minute.
Right. Go look for my 10 millimeters sockets I've been missing for the past 4 months. I done bought 32 of them. Yeah. Yeah. We all know the deal on that. Dude, Jeff, bro, I'll 110% take you up on that. My man Chef Eat says, come to any track day I'm at, and I have a bike for you. 300 636, you pick. Absolutely, man. Nothing but much love for everybody, as you guys already know. Yep, send me the schedule, bro. I'm in 100%. And Andrew, I would love it if you was there too. And you're going to be in Road Atlanta this year, right? In April.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely. I'm gonna try to go to the Aprilia day. Going to try. I was talking to Jeff about it a little bit. Because it kind of gives me a chance to fill out my actual end goal for all of this. With trying to get on an RSV4. So I'm going to try. I'm not too sure how it's going to work out because I know we have the Moto America race is going to be sometime around that time frame.
Yeah,
Can't remember.
that's actually what I was talking about. You actually going to the Moto America race in Atlanta? Because I'll be there.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All
Absolutely.
right. All
Yeah,
right.
we'll absolutely be there.
Well, good. I can't wait to meet you in Victoria in person, and Jeff. It's going to be and I'm a big hugger, by the way. So if I see you from behind, I'm gonna come up to you and give you a big old bear hug. You'd probably be like, who the fuck is this? Right. So yeah, just prepare yourself because that's what I do. Come out of nowhere. Chef Eat says, I will be coaching a pro day. Let's fucking go. You right. Let's fucking go. 110%. My
See,
man
that's what I'm
Jason.
saying. That man,
Yeah,
no
bro.
excuses.
None, dude.
No
Absolutely. Like,
excuses.
just like David Goggins, dude, leave that shit outside.
Yeah.
No excuses here. Facts. 100%. Jason Doss, he says, when I crashed at CMP May of 2022, I came back faster. Yeah, it's absolutely. You know, but there's friends of mine that's done track days never really crashed on the street. They dropped their bike or just did something stupid, right? But not a proper crash to get on the track. They had a proper crash. They don't go back. You know, it either makes you or breaks you.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying, because it's not for everybody. Let's just be honest. It's really not. It's appealing to a lot of people, and then they get on it and something happens and they're like, yeah, no, fuck that. I'll stick with my four wheels. And I'm like, cool, you go stick with your four wheels.
Yeah.
We got this on this.
We're gonna have fun.
Dude, this is what I told my buddy. He started talking to me about how he was gonna quit riding and all this and blah blah blah. And this is the only thing I said. I took a stick and I drew a line in the ground. And I said, you see this line right here? He says, yeah, I see it. I said, good, because on this side of it, we're not gay. On that side of it, you're absolutely gay, right? Yeah. It was like he was like, fuck you, Simcoe, right? One of them type deals. So it was just picking fun at my friend, but at the same time, kind of being serious, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, man. It's yeah. So Jason, again, you're right. He says, yep, the shops don't use the fork oil. We use plus, and they use too much. Yeah, of course, man. Because listen, the what I call stealerships, right? They it's a lot of rookies in there, you know, and then of course the name of the game is job come in, get it done as fast as you can because everything's on flat rate. That's why I got out of it. I can't stand flat rate.
Yeah,
flat rate to me is it's the biggest scam there is, especially in a I mean, they don't have flat rate in heating and air. They ain't got flat rate in electricianal work. I mean,
nope.
You know, none of that, dude. So I got people's lives are in my hand when I'm working on somebody's bike and you keep screaming, hurry up, how much longer, and blah, 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 blah. Mentally, it makes me nervous, right? And I'm like, fuck, I'm failing, but I'm really not failing. You know, I'm the type that I like to properly take my time and do it 110% legit. I don't care if the job calls for 3 hours. It's probably going to take me 6 because, and I'm such an anal when it comes to motorcycles, even like the RC51. I get it home, get it in the garage. First thing is all body work comes completely off of it. Oil gets drained, radiator flare gets drained, spark plugs come out, air filters come out. And my wife's like, you just been home like 40 minutes. And I'm like, this is what I do, right? You know, it had speaker wire ran through it with these stupid little 3M tape lights, man. It took me hours to go through the harness, cut all that bullshit out. But yeah, it's yeah. So I feel you. So it bugs me, Andrew, when I go to take on my side fairing and I'm like, why is there 3 different size bolts right here? Right. That's annoying as fuck. I shouldn't have to have a 10 millimeter, an 11 millimeter, and 2 different size Allen keys to take off my left side fairing. Right. So I go to ronayers.com and I order all the factory OEM bolts for the fairings and the tail section and all that. I mean, that's just me. That's how I got to do it. And when people's bikes come in and I work on them, I'm the same way. I got so many nuts and bolts from years of turning wrenches that I take the extra time and I'll match up all the bolts. The same size, whether it be a 10, whether it be an 8, whatever it is. That's just how I know I am, you know, and being in the motorcycle industry in a shop, I just felt like I was forced and I kind of fell out of love of turning wrenches, you know, like I'd get to the point where I get home. I'm like, I had to do work on mine, get ready for the track. I'm like, fuck it, I'll do it tomorrow, you know, and blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, I'm just going to quit, go get me a real job where I ain't got to have flat rate and just work on bikes on the side. And I still do that to this day. There's a couple bikes out there that, yeah, I turn wrenches on. It's very mentally common for me, you know, to work on somebody's bike and get it running, see how happy they are and smile and all that good stuff. So,
I'll be
Absolutely.
honest, man. I'm running into that too right now. I'm running into that kind of mindset where, obviously I don't work on, motorcycles every day, but turning wrenches is turning wrenches no matter, no matter what you're doing it on. It could be a motorcycle, a car, it doesn't matter. Turning wrenches is turning wrenches. And yeah, there's some days like heck before the race weekend at Roebling, like I had to do a couple of things to the bike, to get it prepared. I had to re-safety wire it and all that stuff. Man, I'd come home from work and I'd look at the bike and I'd be like, God, I really don't feel like doing this. But you have to get it done in order to make, in order to get out on track, in order to get to the racetrack, you have to get these things done. And it's been a lot, man. It's been a lot. And
Dude, it is.
people don't, I guess the people outside of the sport, I would say, don't. I guess obviously they don't like know exactly what goes into it, but I talk to the guys at work and I tell them, and they're like, "How do you manage to do that, man? Like how? It seems like a lot. Is it even worth it?" Yeah, it is. It's worth it.
Absolutely. Especially when you show up in the morning, you get the bike out, you go to the rider meeting, you see everybody smile, you feel the energy, you feel the love. And then when you put the helmet on, when it's, hey, 20 session, whatever, group C, B, or A, whatever you're in, you go out there, it's absolutely 110% worth it. But sometimes it's, yeah, man, it's, I got to, like I said, when I was working at the dealership, I was just like, fuck you guys, right? Underneath my breath all the time. Like, and what really did it for me, man, it kept sticking me with fucking Goings and Harley Davidsons, like full dressers. And they're like, oh, it's got this problem. You got the carburetor's been sitting 20 years. The guy wants the carburetor pulled off. I'm like, really? On this Going that's going to take me 4 months to take apart and put back together? Then I got to remember how to put the goddamn thing back together. I mean, yeah, they're not fun to work on. I'll tell you that. Absolutely no fun to work on. Crago, he has a comment. He says, yeah, they put in what the manual says, but if you have switch from progressive springs to linear springs, you will end up with too little air gap and your suspension will suffer. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. That's why dealerships, they don't proper service motorcycle forks at all, right? There's a lot of things, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. Dude, so you did one. How many races did you do this year?
I did one, and I actually at Roebling Road with Arma. I had to do the race school Friday. That was a neat adventure in itself. And then of course you got Saturday and Sunday. And I had fun that weekend. Friday. The race school with Arma is very useful. And you've probably said it, and you've probably heard it said before. It's good to go through that, even if you know the basics, because you go back over stuff and you realize how much stuff you forgot.
Yeah.
So that was good. And then you do the on track portion, the crawl, walk, run, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, but during that time, like the third session out, we went to get out on track, and I noticed my bike was smoking. I was like it looked like smoke coming out from up under the gas tank, not like out the exhaust, but up under the gas tank. And then it just went away. Obviously, like I didn't pay it any attention. I know I wasn't leaking anything, so I just went on out. So finished that day, and then they give you a test, a handwritten test, and you take it, and then you get your grade, and you get your little certificate, which is over there somewhere. But yeah, then Saturday I went out for like one session of practice, and then the race, which was fun. And then Sunday we learned what the smoke was from. where apparently the bike burned up the stator. So yeah, that wasn't that was fun. Trying to figure out how to get the bike to run without the charging system.
Not fun.
Yeah, and Victoria is the one that actually saved the day on that one.
You go, Victoria.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
she's the one that saved the day. She's like, you should have seen her, man. She was there with like what we did was because it burned the harness, like it burned the connectors for the harness. So pretty much you had to just cut that piece of the harness off and splice some wires together and keep on. Man, she was there, cut the wires, freaking got everything back together and crunked the bike up, and it was ready to ride. I was like,
I love you, girl. I love you. Yeah, right.
I was like, what? So yeah, Sunday was because we didn't know, like, we were there. I missed practice because of all that was happening. So I got one siding lap Sunday to fill out the bike to make sure the suspension was changed. We changed the suspension a little bit because Saturday I noticed that I was having some front end chatter. So we changed some suspension settings, and obviously the stator issue. So we didn't know if the bike was actually going to be able to make the whole 8-lap race. So I took one siding lap and came back in and measured the battery voltage to see how much that it would lose during just a single lap. And luckily it didn't lose any, but I mean, obviously it's a carbureted bike, so it's not going to take much. So yeah, that winded up completing the race. But I had to, I was shifting like super early going down the straightaways and not really getting aggressive in the throttle coming out of the corners just to try to save the bike, because the the main goal for that weekend was to complete the races without incident, so I could get the provisional status out of the way. So yeah, it was fun. It was hectic. Like I said earlier, like I experienced every high and low that day, and then watching Victoria just come out of nowhere, it was like she just teleported from like the trailer all the way to where the canopy was, where the bike was, and just blink of an eye, poof, fixed. I was like, where's this at? Where's this talent that you've had?
Do I know you? Do I know
Right?
you? Right. Do I really know you right now? Dude, that's awesome, man. Yeah, listen, I've been there and done that. Cut the clip off because it melted, hardwired in, and yeah, get to kicking again. It's the good thing is your new stator comes with that plug, so you don't need it, right? It's
Yeah.
and hopefully it'll hold up. Like you said, I've had my stator took a shit out. Actually, I've had a stator take a shit out of me out there running on the street when I first got my 996, like the first major ride. I went with a couple of my buddies. I don't know why Ducati does this, and they've changed it since then, but it has the quick release fuel couplings underneath it, but they're plastic. And I'm like, so I'm sitting out there. We pulled up. I'm probably, I don't know, an hour away at least from the house, and we go in there, eat lunch. We come back out, and I'm like, my bike is leaking fuel, right? Pop up the gas tank right there with a quick disconnect. It had a crack in it and started leaking fuel. So my buddy came and got me, blah, blah, blah. That changed it all to the metal ones. A lot better. A little expensive, but absolutely a lot better. But nothing's worse than when your stator takes a shit on you, right? Because all of a sudden you don't know what it is. First thing, initial thought, just like a car, it's got to be my battery, right? No, probably your alternator. 100%. 100% on that. Jeff says, Aprilia Day is the Monday after the Moto A round. Well, shit, I'll be there because I ain't got to come back to work till Wednesday. So yeah, I will be there for sure. 100%. Can't wait, man. I can't wait to meet all you guys. It's going to be such a good time. Jason Wingler says, I was in the dealership for a decade, and you're exactly right. Yeah, man, it's hard. And now, like out here, I don't know how it is where you guys are in Florida, but out here in Virginia, if your bike's 10 years or older, they won't even work on it.
It's the same. It's
Dude,
the
it's like,
same.
I mean, it's almost like the industry's forcing you to trade it in or sell it and buy a new one, right? It's and I don't get that. As a motorcyclist and enthusiast, I just don't understand that.
I couldn't tell you. I mean, I ran into that issue when when I was trying to get the gearbox and the original engine in my bike. I was when I was trying to get that fixed. I ran into that. Every shop that I called was like, it's too old. We got to split the cases and all that stuff. It was like most of the bikes now, like they have the cassette style gearbox where it's just like bolts, pull it out, replace what you got to replace, put it back
Slide it.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the older bikes like mine, you got to split the cases and all that good stuff. No shop really wants to do that, and plus it's a liability. I wouldn't say a liability. I guess a parts availability issue with the older bikes is what I would guess. Maybe I'm not sure, but
Uh, for the most part, as far as engine wise goes, I'm pretty sure you can still buy cranks and bearings and all that for your bike from the factory. It's to me the way I see it, Andrew, is at the end of the day is I'm just going to use the ZX9 for example, right? Let's say it's blue book value on it's $800, right? I'm sure
yeah,
that's not the case, but let's say $800. You bring it in, you need a transmission put in. They got to split the cases. They're like, well, it's going to cost at least $2,300. It's not even worth doing it on this bike, blah, 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 blah. So that could be another reason. I just don't get it, man. It's like, and again, I said this, it's like carburetors is a lost art, right? Like nobody around here knows how to work on carburetors. That's why I do a lot of dirt bikes. I do dirt bikes and crotch rockets. I don't mess with any four wheelers, dude. I worked on a couple four wheelers and I was like, dude, fuck this shit. Like, nah. Absolutely not, dude. It's like you got to take every freaking thing off of it just to get to anything. And I'm like,
yeah,
nah. I was doing it for a buddy. I was like, oh, you're good. It's not fun. I also like to keep it fun when you are working on stuff too. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah, dude. Listen, you're Jason's right. It would surprise me if he had a technician at the dealership that could even split your cases. And listen, that's so true, man. It's like. And now I go to the dealership out here. I don't know how it is in Florida, man, but you come out here to like Motorsport, which is our biggest one, dude. There might be one crotch rocket in the whole dealership. Everything else is dirt bikes, Groms, side by sides, four wheelers, electric bicycles that they want 8-9 grand for. I'm like, why would somebody pay 8-9 grand for a bicycle? Right? I mean, I just don't get it, man. I don't, but you go down the street, we have one called Eurosports, and they're an Indian, a Ducati, and a BMW dealership. So they do have some crotch rockets in there, is what I call them, right? The guys
Yeah.
of speed, and I go in there and drool, of course. I would love to. I wish I had enough money to buy all the bikes I want, because shit, I'd have a lot. But let me ask you this, Andrew, on that, man. I got asked a question. If I could just have one bike in the world and that's it, right? What bike would you get?
Oh, man, that's a tough one.
Dude, it ain't
That
even got to be for track. It could be for street. It could be just a trophy showroom piece. I'll tell you what mine is real quick, dude. If I had to have just one bike, of course I wouldn't ride it, but it would be Joey Dunlop's 2000 winning TT RC51. Man, I'd have that thing mounted in my room, and yeah, that would be my masterpiece for sure.
I think that's a tough one, man, because there's a lot of them. There's
Facts.
a lot of them, and I'm the biggest Kawasaki fanboy like you will ever come across. I don't know why. Like, I don't like Yamaha. I don't like Ducati. I don't like any other brand. But there's this one bike that's not a Kawasaki that I drool over, and it's the RSV4.
bro. Listen, I'm a
That's
huge
the bike.
dude. RSV4s are
That
sexy.
that is the bike. That's why that's the reason why I like Top Gun so much. Those bikes, man. I wish they competed better at at that level. Uh, but I wish they would fight with Ducati. But yeah, that's the reason why Top Gun is my favorite rider.
Yeah,
Is
that Maverick. Yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah.
he
I seen that he won the sprint race.
sprint race. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
did.
seen that. I was stoked about that.
Yeah, I was happy to see it for sure. Absolutely happy to see it. She said, not a Nikki Hayden bike. Listen, I would love to have like a Nikki Hayden RC51, his actual
Man,
race bike, right?
yeah.
There's so many out there. But as I've said this before 100 million times, dude, the Isle of Man TT is my favorite race of the year. And I would love to have, I mean, what a legend to have, his last winning race bike, RC51, which is one of my favorite bikes anyway. But I'm a lot like you. I've said this before. Kawasaki's, man. I always find myself going back buying green bikes. It's just something about them. They're beautiful. Aprilia too. I've owned an Aprilia. I had the SXV 550 Supermoto. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it was absolute the best Supermoto, and I've had many I've ever had. But it's a freaking goddamn money pit, Andrew. I mean, it's ridiculous money pit.
I've heard that they are. And if you don't live near an Aprilia dealership, good freaking luck.
Well,
But luckily, there's one in Atlanta that's like a 2 hour drive. So
yeah, well, the issue with the first couple years that they come out with was they use this orange sealant on the motor, and it would always go back. I mean, there was out there with like less than 1,000 miles on them that it would let go because the orange sealant would crack, right? And then so you had to send it off to Nolan. Where is Nolan? In Maryland. I think Nolan's in Maryland, and he's an expert on the SXVs. And you send your motor to him, yeah, again, $5,000, and you get it back, and it's good to go for like 10,000 miles. But at the 10,000 mile mark, it's going to cost you another $5,000 because you got to completely rebuild the motor. Every 2,500 miles, Andrew, you had to physically pull the motor out of the bike just to adjust the valves. And it just got to the point where I was like, you know what? I love her, and she's beautiful, but she's not for me anymore. So we got to break up, girl. Like, you know what I'm saying? What them type deals, I got to let you go, girl. Listen, it's not you, it's me. One of them
right.
type speeches, right? No, baby, you're beautiful, and I love you so much, but it's not you. It's definitely me. Yeah, man. It's funny how it works out, man. I've owned a lot of bikes, and yeah, I always go back, except for the RC51. Dude, I always wanted one. Nikki 101, Dunlop 101. It's such a magical bike, and yeah. So instead of me fixing my 848, I bought another motorcycle. Yes, let's go. Yeah. It's. Hey, I meant to ask you, what'd y'all think of my wig I wore the other day on the podcast?
Right, you can't really see my shirt, but that's the reason why I picked the pink Floyd shirt.
Nice, dude. I love it.
Yeah, that's the reason why I was actually walking around because like I told you yesterday when we were chatting, I have to like rush home from work to get showered because I was filthy. So I've been working on this excavator that caught fire. Like I guess they were using it for like logging and stuff and burning and land clearing. So I guess the embers from a fire when they were dumping logs in it, I guess fell in the back where all the hydraulic control valve and stuff is. So it caught fire in that area, burned it completely up. So like I literally was black and filthy with hydraulic fluid and oil and all kinds of stuff. So I had to rush home. And I was walking around. I was like, man, what shirt will I wear? And then I thought about your hairdo yesterday, and I was like, or the last podcast, and I was like, Pink Floyd. That's it.
That's
That's
it.
the one.
That's awesome. Yeah, dude, I had a lot of people hit me up and they're like, bro, that was like absolutely brilliant, dude. Like to change it up like that. So I'm actually gonna go out and buy a couple different ones. So every once in a while, I'll just throw on a wig just to be different and fun. Just have fun with it because that's what it's about
Yeah,
too. You know, it's
yeah.
dude, yeah, it was hilarious. My buddy seen it and immediately messaged me as the podcast was going. It was like, bro, you made me spit out my cup of my drink while I was driving down the road. Yeah, hilarious, dude. Jason says 2001 RC51, the one who won the 2000 on the right. I'm a big V twin guy anyway. Me too, man. I listen. The very first time I rode a twin, I was like, dude, this is fucking awesome. Because that torque is just redonkulous from the bottom end. You know, it's and the sound. I mean, come on, man. Who a V twin is
Yeah.
just bop, 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 bop. It's yeah, dude, it moves your soul for sure. 100%. And then Jason says, pick your poison, Bubba, right? I mean, it's yeah, buddy. We yeah, and then Michael Kellum says, I need to talk to Chris at some point in my life. Well, Michael, all you gotta do is hit me up on Facebook Messenger, man, and we'll make it happen for sure.
Look, that's my suit. That's my suit guy right there. Hyper Naked brand.
Oh, okay. Well,
Freaking
dude, yeah, hyper naked, dude. Yeah, let's chat, Michael. Hit me up 100%.
yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah, he hooked me up with that Buzz Lightyear suit. I mean, he knocked that out of the park.
I love it
Knocked
too.
it completely out of the park. And that was the wreck at Road Atlanta was like my second time out in that suit. Like the suit was still brand new. I was still getting it broken and stuff. And my man, he's seen the pictures. He's seen the picture of the bike that I posted on Facebook, and he immediately called me and was like, "I don't care about the suit. I don't care about the bike. Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, man, suit held up great." He was like, "Just want to make sure you're okay." So yeah, he's good people.
Yeah,
Good people.
absolutely. Yeah. So, Michael, hit me up, Facebook Messenger. I'll shoot you a message as soon as this podcast ends for sure. Because I definitely want to chat. I've had a couple people tell me that I need to look into Hyper Naked, and my man Chef Eats is absolutely one of them. So,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, let's and then Jeff said this would make a great episode. Make it happen. We will, Jeff. Absolutely, we will. Jeff said Kellum is a boo. I love it, dude. Yeah, that's good stuff. And then Victoria says, blondes have more fun. Get a Rapunzel wig. You know what? I will do that. Absolutely. And then look what we got in the house. Take Harmony. What is up, man? 64 degrees, baby.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, he's freaking amazing. Absolute amazing guy. But yeah, dude, listen, dude, Andrew, we're an hour and 12 minutes into this, and it seems like we just started. It's
Right.
this is what I love about podcasts. But you know what? We'll definitely do a part 2 and part 3 and part 4 and part 5, part 6, all that good stuff. But listen, I'm looking forward to dude meeting you and Victoria and Jeff Servin and all my friends there in Road Atlanta. But I do want to talk to you about the 2024 season. Do you still plan on doing more races this year or just track days or what you planning?
Yeah. See, we were supposed to go to Carolina Motorsports Park, but I had a head injury that kind of sidelined me. So I got cleared from that, got that under control, and the next race is going to be at Little Talladega. So that was the first track I've ever went to on a bike. Um, so I'm really looking forward to it. And now that, I've shed the orange jersey and I got the provisional status out of the way, now I can actually dig in and push. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna try to do as many, races this year, Arma and both Wira. I know Wira has Cycle Jam coming up. So and that's at Road Atlanta, and that's like one of my favorite tracks. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna try to make as many rounds as we can, which was the goal for this year. Not competing for a championship or anything like that, just to, kind of get the experience and learn the ins and outs and the do's and don'ts. So come the season after, we can really try to like hit the ground running. Potentially on a new bike. So,
A new Aprilia?
I mean, just saying there's a reason why I said RSV4. Like, that's my goal is to, you know, I wanted to run a season on the ZX9 because that was always the goal for that bike.
Yeah.
I was headstrong on it, and I've had a lot of trials and tribulations with it. A lot of guys in the UK have actually stepped in and helped me on the ZX9 forums. With the suspension swaps that you can do. I mean, and the things to get the bike to actually perform halfway decent on the track.
Yeah.
So that was a goal for that bike, but after that, it's time to transition over to the ultimate goal of competing in a stock 1000 class for the Moto America. So I'm trying to set myself up for it.
Dude, that's awesome. And I assume you're going to keep the ZX9 forever, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. After the last race of the year at Barber this year, it's going in the garage. And I've kept all of the stock parts, like they're in the attic and boxes and stuff. I'm just going to turn it completely back stock, and it's just going to sit there.
Yeah,
It's going to sit there. I might ride it on the street every once in a while, but that's a big if, just because of the sentimental value that it holds, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll definitely, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, dude, listen, I've made a mistake and got rid of a couple bikes that, man, god damn it, dude. I wish I could rewind the time and get them back, because I would never let them go. I'd hold them and squeeze them and kiss them and love them and every night and tuck them into bed.
That's right.
There are some out there that I don't even like talking about it because it just fucking, they say you should never have regrets. God damn it, I got some regrets, man. I can't. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's one that my RC51. I won't let her go neither, because she's a 03 Andrew. I bought her in Eden, North Carolina, which is, it's only like 85 miles from me or some shit like that. Dude, it had 15,400 original miles on it, bro. Dude, and you know how long it took me to find one with that least miles on it, and I paid $6,500 for it, is what I gave for it. And I was like, take my money. Absolutely take it,
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, since then, as soon as I got it home, like I said, all the bodywork come off. And then I got a set of clip-ons, reverse shifter. I need to get up with Eric Wood because he's got some rear sets for me. So I'm going to do that. I did the Magera because it's a hydraulic clutch. So I put a Magera clutch master on it, the slave cylinder on it, all stainless lines. And then I bought the Brembo RC19 master. I mean, dude, the list goes on. I've already spent on keyless gas cap, yada yada. Of course, that's absolutely essentials you got to have, right? But yeah, I feel you on that, man. I won't get rid of her. I told my wife this winter when it comes up. I used to do my podcast in my other living room. So I got posters and helmets. I got this big helmet rack out there, but I'm gonna slide all that shit over. My RC is gonna sit right there in the living room. Yep, absolutely. If it was my choice, it'd be, in the bedroom. It'd actually be in the middle between me and my wife, right? But I gotta snuggle up to her, man. Come on, man. Let's just keep it real.
Yeah, I can't say that I'll do that because mine's watching. So
I know she is. I know. And look, Victoria, my wife, would be like, hell no, that ain't coming in the bedroom. If I had a bedroom big enough, she'd be cool with, being parked in there somewhere. But yeah, my wife would be like, hell no. You're gonna have to get your own bed, all right? But yeah, man, absolutely, man, absolutely. So listen, dude, I have nothing but excitement, and I'm a huge fan. Dude, you're an absolute legend. Anybody that races on the track, that rides on the track, dude, I call everybody legends, dude, and it's just like when I meet everybody and I tell everybody it's an absolute honor to meet you. To me, that's like the biggest compliment, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I mean, you hear me say it all the time on Facebook posts. It is, dude. It's overwhelming sometimes. Let's see. He says, Jeff Servin, I would do it for sure. Just need an invite to be cool like y'all. You are cool. Hyper naked, you're absolutely cool, man. Yeah, it's good stuff, man. So listen, Andrew, I want to get to one of my favorite parts of the podcast where I talk about what Andrew likes to do away from work and motorcycles and all that good stuff. And I'm sure you've heard these questions. So favorite movie, Andrew.
Oh, favorite movie. Man, let me tell you. I just watched it a couple of nights ago, and it's gonna sound cringy, and that's okay. But the new Roadhouse.
Really? I
I don't
haven't
know if
seen it
you.
yet. No,
Oh
I
man,
want to.
dude, I haven't seen the first one, like the OG Roadhouse, but the second one, like Conor McGregor in it and Jake Gyllenhaal, however you say his last name. I'm pretty sure I just butchered it, but
That's all right.
um, yeah, that's probably my most favorite movie currently. Just because I don't know, it was one of those movies that I've seen and I was like, I thought it was going to be a flop, and it actually turned out to be good. So, yeah,
Well, good. I'm gonna have to
Roadhouse
watch it, man,
definitely,
because my buddy actually sent me an app where I can watch all that shit. So in Roadhouse is on there, and I almost started it last night, but I was tired.
dude. It's
I,
definitely
so
worth it.
I go to bed early. Like I like to go to bed early. Like I'm in bed usually by 9:30. And a lot of my friends are like, why the fuck you go to bed so? Because dude, I get up at 5:30 in the morning. I like to do my little workout routine. I stretch.
Yeah,
I do the Wim Hof method where I do my breathing exercises. I'll do my push-ups, and if I have enough time, I'll go try to attempt a cold shower. And I hate cold showers. I'd rather just jump in the ice bath because I'm real big into those. So yeah, I find myself after dinner, trying to watch TV show. My son's like, I want to play Fortnite, Daddy, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to bed. See ya. Yeah. So it's yeah, but my favorite movie of all time is such a hard question, man. Top Gun. I know you heard me say it, dude, because that's what my dad did. He took me to see it, and I was just like, yeah, absolutely blown away. And the second one, I was like, please don't fuck this up. And it's actually a really good movie. I was actually impressed with the
yeah,
second.
yeah.
But books. I know you hear me say it, Andrew. I'm a big audio book guy. Do you do books at all?
I don't read much, but man, I'll tell you what. So Victoria's been going to, doing the flight school and stuff. I know you've seen her post about it
Yeah.
on Facebook and stuff. So she's been doing like this online stuff where she's basically building like a notepad of notes so she can, study for her private pilot's license test and all that stuff. Anyways, she got a portion of it where it's talking about like the sectional charts and all that stuff. And she was like, she told me about a book that she had, and I went and found it and all that stuff. And she was like, you really want, an idea of all this, just read it. And I don't know if she said that thinking that I wasn't going to, if I was just going to like look at it and just be like, eh. But I actually did read it. And man, there's a lot of vital information. And I actually enjoyed reading it.
Good.
So, like, I don't really like reading books and stuff, but that's one. I can't remember the name. I'm pretty sure she can comment and put it up there, but it's something about aviation, and it's like in the technical side of it and stuff like that. But yeah, it's something airframe. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's the thing that I've recently read that I actually enjoyed reading.
Yeah, listen, it's good. You need to. I tell this to everybody, dude. John Hopkins Leather. Get the audio book. Throw your earbuds in when you're on the way to work or you're sitting there working on your bulldozer, man. Throw them in and listen to it, dude. It's one of the best autobiographies as far as racers go. And I say all the time, I'm not taking nothing away from Joey Dunlop and John McGinnis because I've read all of them. Ian Hutchinson's, dude, they're all magical, but John Hopkins don't hold nothing back. He's talking about smoking weed and then racing a MotoGP bike and the alcohol and the pill addiction. And it was just like, this is what we want. This is what I need, right? Like God's honest truth.
Yeah,
It just, dude, it's such a great book. So if you can, dude, download it. That and there's plenty more. I'll send you some more. Like Matthew McConaughey's Green Light. It was absolutely amazing. And I'm gonna tell you another one that fucking blew my mind is Randy Lanier, bro. I'm gonna tell you right now, this dude, he was
yeah,
a he was an up and coming car racer that got into smuggling drugs to pay for his car racing, dude. And it just goes all these different directions. And it's one of those books where I'm gonna listen to one more chapter. I'm gonna listen to one more, and then it's 11 o'clock at night, right? I can barely keep my eyes open. I look at the time, I'm like, fuck, I gotta go to sleep, and then I get up at 5:15 in the morning. I'm like, I don't even want to get out of bed now, right? But same thing, I'll throw my phone down over here, do my breathing, do my push-ups while I'm still listening to the book. It's absolutely yeah, it's an amazing book, man. You will like. Oh, she says Farum, it's like the holy grail of flying. I hope I said
Yeah.
that. Far aim. There it is. Far aim. I said Farum. I'm dyslexic sometimes. And then we
Yeah,
got
I'm telling you, man. It's that book. I started reading some of the stuff, and obviously I don't know anything that I'm reading, but like it helped give me a bigger perspective into what she's having to learn.
yeah,
So I really enjoyed watching it or reading it,
reading
excuse
it.
me.
Good. I'm gonna have to check it out then. And we got Chris Lewis in the house. What is up, Chris? He's a good mate of mine out there in the UK, man. I hope you had a mega day, Chris, for sure. So what podcast do you listen to? I listen to, man, there's a lot of them, but I don't listen to a whole lot of motorcycle podcasts, if I'm honest. And some people are like, really? I do. There's certain ones like my man Off Track right here, Dave Neal out there in the UK. I listen to him, Chasing the Racing. Of course, the MotoGP podcast, not the official MotoGP podcast where they just do like their own. They'll interview the riders for like 20 minutes or whatever it is. I
Yeah.
listen to like the race review some, and then Moto PG is another big one of mine. Big shout out to Boris and Tugs and Fredo out there in Australia. But I like my wife got me into some crime podcasts. There's this one called Case Something. It's about like the murders and shit like that. It's she got me kind of hooked on those too. And then of course everybody Joe Rogan, right? Let's just be honest, because he's absolutely funny as shit sometimes. But what do you listen to, Andrew?
Man, I swear I'm not trying to gain any brownie points, but just yours.
Really?
Just yours. I mean, every now and then, like I'll tune in to like a Theo Vaughn and listen, but like I don't know, like your podcast kind of gives like an insight to people that are the up and coming racers, the ones that are trying to get to where I'm at now or where the others are at and all that stuff. Like it's very insightful. So obviously somebody that eats, sleeps, and breathes like motorcycle racing and stuff like that, like of course it has the attention. So like just yours, that's all.
Again, nothing but love, dude. Absolute, what an honor. Thank you so much, dude. I don't even know what to say, but yeah, it's an honor. Thank you. Music, Andrew. What is your music you listen to?
Oh man, anything like are we talking about like before I go out on track or like just
All right,
in
two
general?
questions. Two questions. What do you listen to prepare yourself to go out on track, and then what do you listen to away from the track?
To go out on track, it's either Boosie or Kevin Gates, and I don't know why, but it's just that's what my finger always hits on Pandora. And then like when I'm at work, it's a mixture of everything. Like it could be from like country all the way to like rap or like this is gonna sound funny, but Taylor Swift.
A
I'm a big
Swifty.
I'm not even gonna lie, like Taylor Swift.
I love it. No, I don't, man. That's good stuff, man. I'm saying, man, I listen to fucking you name it, everything, right? Frank Sinatra, to Young Dolph, to Bob Marley, to Pink Floyd, to Tim McGraw, to yeah, dude. It's I just put it in. But do you have any superstitions you do before you get on track, like left boot, right boot, all that good stuff, or you just
I don't I know one that Victoria wants to start doing before we hit the track or before one of us goes out on track is, you know, it's praying together. So that's gonna come that's gonna take that place. So yeah, I would say that.
Proper, dude. I love it. Absolute love it. Are you a Star Wars or Star Trek guy?
Neither.
Marvel or DC?
Neither.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I never really got into you know, those types of movies and stuff, comics or anything like that. Like I've always been like a Batman and Joker type. I don't know whether they're Marvel or DC, but
DC.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, who would
So
you be, Batman or the Joker?
some days Joker and some days Batman.
Right?
It depends on what day I'm having.
Dude, I totally understand. Somebody, because obviously I grew up. I'm a Star Wars nerd, right? I like Marvel and DC. Dude, I love all those movies. And they're like, dude, if you could be any Jedi, or what would you be? And I was like, dude, I wouldn't be a Jedi and I wouldn't be a Sith, because a Jedi can't marry girls, and I love women, right? So that puts me out of the Jedi category, and I'm not a bad guy, so that puts me out of the Sith category. So I'd be that middle road guy, right? Where I'm gonna help the good guys, get all the bad guys, and still do my pleasures, right? My wife, and have kids, and all that stuff. So yeah, I feel you on that. Food, Andrew. I know you hear me say, dude, I love food. I get cooking from my mom, and I love to cook. And I like spicy food. What kind of food are you into? What's your favorite food?
Italian. I really like Italian food. Like anything, like obviously you got pizza and spaghetti and lasagna. But Italian food, anything Italian, right up my alley.
Yeah. Well, what's your hands down favorite Italian food? Chicken parmesan, penne
Mm,
pasta, pasta carbonara.
I'm gonna have to say like a baked lasagna. I know that sounds kind of
No, it's good. I like baked lasagna
baked lasagna for some reason.
or baked ziti. It's so good. I
Okay,
mean,
so funny
go
story. I didn't even know what that was until this past weekend.
baked ziti.
Yes.
Really?
Oh man, yeah.
Uh,
I didn't even know what that was. I was down at Victoria's parents' house, and we were having dinner, and her dad was like, "You want to have this baked ziti?" And I was like, "What is that? Is that a plant? Is that a what?" And I didn't know what it was. Yeah,
it's good, ain't it?
yeah, it was actually.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so I do like this. That's
Yeah,
cool.
dude, so basically, dude, you can do a baked ziti lasagna. So instead of using lasagna noodles, you just use the penne noodles and whatever sauce, and boom, there you go. Right? That's the brilliant thing about cooking, man. Once you learn to do a recipe, man, you can always change it up and improve it, or sometimes fuck it up. Like me, this is my thing: is I'm a great cook, and I cook some awesome food. My friends will tell you straight up, do Sim Cook and cook for real, right? But when it comes to making something simple like rice, how do I burn the rice every time I fucking cook it, right? Like, I don't understand. It's easy. It's quarter cup of water, boil, throw the rice in there, cut it down, put the lid on it, blah. Dude, for some reason,
Yep,
this guy
that's
right here
me.
will fuck some rice up for sure.
Yep.
It's hilarious. My wife's like, I don't understand. You can make blah, 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 but you fuck this up. I'm like, hey, I can't be good at everything, right?
I was about to say, win some, lose some.
Right. Seriously. So, next question, dude. Celebrity crush. Who is your celebrity crush?
Can we skip this?
Absolutely, we can. Absolutely, we can. My dude, I don't even know where to begin, dude. I got dude, Eva Menendez, Halle Berry. I mean, the list goes on. Salma Hayek. I mean, yeah, it's there's a lot of, but we'll skip that one. What advice would you give your younger self, Andrew?
Um, don't be afraid to go for the goals that you want in life. Like I wish I would have had somebody tell me that, like
Yeah.
back at 11, 12 years old. And that's what I try to preach to my son now all the time is like, if you want to do it, freaking go do it.
I'm with you 110%. And Victoria, I should have thought of that too. She said our celebrity crush should be Jeff Servin. That's right. Chef Eats, my celebrity crush, Andrew's celebrity crush. Let's get it. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, man. It's
He's a
that
sexy
hair,
man, ain't he? Yeah,
that
buddy.
hair. It's that hair.
Uh-huh. I like it. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So are you in any other sports at all? Like do you watch football or NASCAR or Formula One or anything?
Um, I used to be a big college football fan. I mean, huge. But I'll be honest, man. Since they turned it kind of like when they did I don't know if you pay attention to college football or not, but they did it to where like the college players like actually get paid now. They have to where it's it's okay, I guess, for lack of a better word. It's okay if they seek out like sponsorship deals like with Nike or endorsements and stuff like that. And since that has happened, like the purity of college football is like tanked. So I stopped watching it pretty much altogether. Baseball, like I'm a big baseball nut, even though a lot of people that know me don't know that, but I played baseball in high school and stuff. So like I love baseball. So yeah,
Well,
other than motorcycles, that's it.
dude, the only other sport I watch besides road racing is freaking soccer. The real football. America, wake up. The real football is soccer, not handball.
Yeah, I don't see how I don't see how they can do that. I mean, they're constantly running up and down the field. Like,
Dude, it's awesome, dude. Sport is it's so emotional, it's so epic. What they do, dude, it's absolutely amazing. I used to watch football, okay, handball, the American handball. Growing up, my favorite sportsman was, of course, Michael Jordan, but Bo Jackson was my dude, right?
yeah,
And I tried to get into baseball, man. I really did. It's just not me, man. It's boring to me, right? I hate to say it, but even motorcycle racing, a lot of people are like, oh, that shit sucks, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I just can't get into it. So I do watch soccer and I like to play FIFA, right, on the PlayStation. And
yeah.
yeah, man. So speaking of that, PlayStation or Xbox?
Xbox.
What's in the console right now?
Uh, I'll be honest, man. I don't play a lot of games now. Um, I used to be real big into like Call of Duty, obviously. Um, and like the Forza and all the racing games and stuff like that. But if I had to guess, I don't even know what's in. Probably like Ride 4 or MotoGP 22 or something like
Yeah.
that. If I had to guess.
Yeah. Well, I wish I had more time to play. I got Ride 5. I just got that not too long ago. So I've been on that pretty hard when I do get to sit down and do it. Yeah, I'm like you. I used to play Call of Duty and I just got tired of Call of Duty because it's basically the same game.
Yeah, it's the same thing, just
Year
over and over and over again.
Yeah, they need to absolutely do something better and change it up. But speaking of that, man, are you into guns? Like, do you have a lot of guns? Like, I don't go hunting at all, but I love to go shooting. Right. So,
Yeah, I used to have quite a few, and then I got rid of them all. But anything like AR based, like a AR, like the AR-15s, obviously, but then you got the 308s and the 4.58 SOCOMs and stuff like that. Like I used to be a gun nerd. but now like the main hobby takes up all of
Yeah.
the all the free funds. So like I would love to get back into shooting and stuff, but I mean, like with everything else, the price of things have just
Ridiculous.
skyrocketed.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a pick your poison type deal, and I prefer motorcycles. So
Listen, I understand. Dude, I'm a gun nut. I got an arsenal back there in my safe, and even more at my parents' house. Like it's absolutely retarded. We could have a little mini army for real. But yeah, AR-15. I built my first 300 blackout 2 years ago. From like I bought the strip lowered and
yeah,
all that good stuff. And I had a goal. I was like $1,200. That's all I'm sinking into this gun, dude. $2,900 later. Yeah, and I'm still not done, right? So yeah, I get it, dude. It's yeah, man. I even bought my son, because I've been teaching my son since he was little, dude, gun safety, right? Because I'd rather him know about guns and how to
hmm
properly handle them. That way, if he goes out here with his fucking knucklehead friends and they think they, at least he'll be aware and know how to handle one properly. So yeah, I bought him an AR-22 and he loves to shoot that thing. And dude, he's really good at it too. It's hilarious. He won't shoot my AR-15, my 300 blackout though. He's like, I got a P365 that I do because I personal carry every day. Not open, concealed. So I got the little P365. Had the slide done, Cerakoted, cuts in the slide, different barrel, again, sport, right? All out.
yeah,
And so Rossi shot it. He's like, man, it's nice. It's too snappy for me, right? And he's 11 now, so he was 9 at the time. Yeah, and I'm taking, dude. I let him shoot my AR, dude. To anything, yeah, shoot it. Let's do it, right? One gun that I do have though that I don't shoot a lot because it hurts after a while is my Mosin Nagant, which is a World War II rifle. It's solid wood with a brass butt stock on it. It shoots a 7.62 by 54, which is a
yeah,
big round, dude. So it's
yeah,
like, bro, I'll shoot that thing like 20, 30 times. I'm like, all right,
yeah. You got a
somebody
dead
else shoot
shoulder.
this thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't want to shoot this no more, but I can't let it go. Like I was gonna sell it at one time. I'm like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna go on and keep it because it's a great shooting gun. It really is. Let me ask you this, dude. Who's your favorite racer, Andrew?
Are we talking motorcycle or just any
Motorcycles, two wheels.
motorcycle?
Yep.
Pastor, pastor, current,
Any
any?
current, dead, it don't matter.
I would say currently Stefano Mesa. Currently, that's a guy that I really pay attention to. With how he rides and what he does on the bike, and I try to, you know, translate that into myself because he's really smooth, and I mean he's fast. So
Absolutely.
like he's my favorite, and then of course you got Jake Gagne and Cam Peterson. Like I really enjoy watching them. So it's kind of a toss up, but I'd say Stefano Mesa.
Yeah, he's a legend himself, right? And it always confuses me how Stefano don't Mesa does not have a full-time ride. I just don't get it.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah, I just don't. He absolutely deserves one. I mean, let's just be honest. He's fast on anything he throws his leg over, and he
for
wins.
sure.
Right? He wins. So yeah, man. So let me ask you this: where do you see yourself 5 years from now, Andrew? Just in life in general, right? You want to be obviously in the super stock class in Moto America, married, blah 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 blah. Where do you see yourself 5 years?
Um, this goes back to me saying that Jeff is kind of like elevated me not only on track but in personal life. But I'm really trying to push to get my own business started because I have an electrical background. And that's what I really want to do is electrical and PLC programming and stuff like that. That's what I'm good at. That's what I enjoy. And he has helped me tremendously. with the mindset of trying to make that jump, because it's, it's a scary jump to,
It is. Yeah.
leave the comfortableness of your normal like 9 to 5 guaranteed paycheck as long as you show up and all that stuff, to running everything by yourself, and your paycheck depends on you. And so owning my own business, competing in Moto America, obviously, you know getting Victoria up to, the Moto America level would definitely be, ideal. Both of us competing. Um, Obviously married and all that good stuff. So yeah, a, a lot, a lot to do in 5 years, but
You can make it happen, man. You can make it
yeah,
happen. Listen, dude, you can do it, dude. And anything you put your mind to, Andrew, you can do it. And you're right. It is a scary leap. I totally get it. I really do. It's hard to leave comfort. You just show up. It's like we're robots when we go to
yeah,
work for corporate America is what it is. We show up, hit the same time clock, go do the same thing. Well, mechanics is not the same job, but you're still a robot for the company, if you know what I mean, right?
yeah.
Versus yourself, it's unknown. You got to get the clients, you got to go buy the materials, you got to do this, you got to do that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I get it. I get it. So let me ask you this, man. If you could take 3 people to dinner with you, dead or alive, who would it be? It could be racers, football stars, baseball stars, family members, whoever. What 3 would you choose?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Because there's so many. There's so many people. My grandma, and I would probably say my grandma and Victoria's grandpa. Yeah, and Victoria, obviously.
Love it, man. I love it. Let me ask you, who's the most famous person you have in your phone?
Most famous person? Uh, I don't know. No one? I don't really have anybody famous in my phone.
You got
But
Chef Eats.
what? Oh, you're talking about like? Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, Jeff. Obviously, I hope he's still not. I hope he's not watching still. He's
That's
gonna see that and
hilarious.
be like, well, there goes your food.
Yeah, there goes your yeah, right. Late order. Yeah, dude. That's hilarious, man. That's good stuff. Well, yeah, man. Listen, dude, we're an hour and 47 minutes into this, man. I'm gonna end it so I can go in here and eat some dinner. Look, here comes my boy right now. What is up, Ralphie? I know. I was just getting ready to say I'm getting ready to get done so we can come in there and eat. All right, Bubba. Oh, you gonna say hi? Say hi to Andrew.
I
Oh, you been in there playing Fortnite? You just turned off my mic.
yeah.
Keep my mic there, buddy.
Are you live?
All right.
Are you live?
Yes, we're live. You see the red button live. You want to take over?
No.
Okay. All right. Look, Andrew, I was gonna let him finish the podcast out. Yeah.
Our guys are getting it right now. It's over, guys.
It's hilarious.
See you next time.
All right.
Gas the mask.
Pin the gas. That's right. So listen, before we get off here, Andrew, I need you to give a shout out how people can follow you on social media. You need to get you a club started, whatever race number, Club Andew Davis. Get some hats, get some t-shirts that also help you get some funds in. Do what, Bubba?
Can you hook this up to my phone?
Yeah. Can I get done with this?
When you're done.
When I'm done, high five. My man. All right. So, Andrew, sorry about that. Yeah, go ahead and give your shouts out how everybody can find you on social media.
You can find me on TikTok. Old_slow ZX9. My Facebook, obviously my name, and that's about it. Like, I don't have an Instagram. I did have one, but the account got locked or hacked or something. Anyways, But yeah, that's the only social medias that I have. But yeah, shout outs to Chef Eats, obviously, and 64 Degree Racing. Tate is working on uh a custom undersuit for me and Victoria. So yeah, shout out to them. I'm looking forward to that, really. And Chef Eats, man, Jeff is, like I've said it before and I'll say it again, he's been really instrumental in the track experience. So yeah, I really appreciate him.
Dude, I couldn't said it better myself. Yes, absolutely. Big shout out to Chef Eats, and I say it all the time, dude. You guys that are listening or that's going to listen to this, I don't know what you're doing. Stop. Go to chefeats.com, order you some meals. I promise you, they're absolutely amazing. And he makes all kinds of meals. Depending on what diet you want, dude, he can
Yes.
alter it and make it for whatever you need, whether you're at a racetrack, a BMX track, figure skating, whatever it is, right? You don't even got to be in sports to, you can just be something you take to work every day and eat and be healthy, or dinner or whatever it is. Look no further than Chef Eats. Absolutely amazing. I need to give a big shout out to my man Jake Marsh out there, RD Racing out there in the UK. He races in the GP2 class in the British Superbikes. He has a Club 45. You guys go up and sign up for him, help him out. He's a super fast, up and coming legend, and he will be a championship one day. So big shout out to Jake Marsh. Big shout out to my man Martin at the Clothing Kings. You guys can go to clothingkings.co.uk and get any Pin to Gas merch. Dude, we got sweatshirts, t-shirts, beanies, jackets, whatever you want. Another one is big shout out to my man Jillian Carrera in the British Talent Cup, Club 40. He's still got some slots left. Yep, Juju, go sign up for him. Big shout out to my man Michael Carrera, the whole SFL Mini GP in South Florida. Anybody on the East Coast, West Coast, Mid Coast, whatever coast you're on, get your butt down there to Florida. Sign up, register. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. Amazing people, absolutely amazing. So yeah, it's nothing but love. And listen, thank you guys so much that listens to my podcast and that shows me nothing but love. I tell you guys this all the time. I love you guys. It's an absolute honor, and it's much appreciated. I get emotional sometimes when I get messages. I absolutely love it. And thank you guys so much. This episode will be out everywhere you listen to podcasts but Apple, because I need to come to find out I did get accepted. And I've said this several times, but now I got to update my laptop because my other one took a shit. I got my wife's laptop, a MacBook Air Pro, but it's outdated. It won't do the new update that I need to. Whatever, it'll be out on Apple soon, but we're out everywhere else. So this episode will be out on Spotify, iHeart, and all that good stuff. But yeah, dude, Andew Davis, absolute legend. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute
man.
honor.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, bro. I had a great time. I know there's a lot of stuff that we didn't get to talk about, right? But that's how it goes. But we will get our chance. Part 2, part 3, part 4. You guys stay tuned. It is coming up, and I will see you, Jeff, and everybody else in Road Atlanta here in about 3 weeks' time.
That's right. Yeah.
Absolutely. And listen, I send everybody stickers that come on the podcast. You can either text me your address. As a matter of fact, I'll text you. I'll message you my number. You message me. I'll either send them to you or I'll just bring them to Road Atlanta. So
yeah, absolutely, man.
Absolutely, man. Well, listen, I appreciate you, Andrew. It's been an absolute honor. Thank you guys so much. You guys are absolutely amazing too. And yeah, we will see you next time. Dude, Andrew.